one of the most exciting things in life is really making someone else's day.
That's it.
Because when you make someone else's day, it's amazing how God will make your day.
Yeah, there you go. That's
it's
another
just
practical
getting
thing.
out of that, like lifting your eyes off of what you want so much.
Yeah.
And realize that, you know, it may not happen that way, but you know what? God has other ways to fill you up.
Yeah.
And to really be that vessel of just grace and servanthood and all the things that God, you know, really has us on this earth to do. I love the way he said, I have a secret. I know the secret.
Yes, it's a secret.
You know, I know the secret. I've finally realized as I've been going and growing, there's a secret and it's called contentment. You know, so it's not a secret anymore, everybody. It's not a secret. But you know, I think that sometimes what's fulfilling in my life is not always what I get to do or what I've been called to do. But I think one of the most important things in life is to find relationships
that's good.
that fulfill you. And you can be 60, you can be 80. You don't have to have a lot of
100%,
relationships.
yes.
But I find in my life the most rewarding thing is from relationships and the things I've cultivated with other people. My children, my family, you know, are the most precious things. I could have nothing, I could be retired, but you know, I have a relationship I feel like I love, and in return, I'm loved back. And it's just, I think sometimes people put too much emphasis on what they do, you know, and I believe that comes a lot of times from comparison.
Oh, absolutely.
And so when we start doing that, we feel isolated. We feel like we're not enough.
Well, that's the flood of social media.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We start setting up milestones because we see them on social media. Like I'm 30, I should be married with kids. Well, who says?
so?
It's just, we put these weird pressures on ourselves to measure up to what somebody else is doing or where their life is at some point.
And you know, it's better to be single and be happy than to be married and wish you were single.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, another thing that we were talking about last night is being happy in your present. You know, because I think, you know, the poor little girl saying, I'm 30 and I'm not married and I don't have kids. If you don't enjoy this time right now, God can make up in a moment what you feel you've lost.
I agree.
Across the board.
And I think I like what you said about how people compare. I think we compare our seasons to other people's seasons when we're not the same people. We haven't had the same relationships or the same circumstances. I know when I was starting my career at a young age, a lot of my friends were getting married, and I did feel very behind. And then they would say, they're my good friends, that after they got married with their husband, they kind of discovered their purpose and their career. And we both eventually found our families and our husbands and our careers, but in opposite time frames. But what a sad thing had I put all of my energy into the other calling, and they put all of their energy into the other calling when in their circumstance,
Out of time, you'd be out of time.
to a certain time. And something that I had to think of in that time when there was, you know, I wasn't dating and I was just kind of career focused, was I'm just gonna kill it while I'm in it. Like while I'm in this, I'm just gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill this phase where I'm single and I have my good girlfriends and some are getting married and some are not. I'm just gonna kill it. And then now I've been married for almost 5 years. We don't have kids, but in this season, I'm gonna kill it while I'm in it. And at that point, I was just like,
Kill it's good, right?
kill it's a good thing. I'm sorry.
You know, that's a millennial term.
Kill it while I'm in it. Ooh, I guess there was like a more spiritual way to say that. To the 30-year-old woman that feels like maybe she's a little bit behind, she's not married, she doesn't have kids, oh my goodness, I so understand how you feel. I have felt that so many times in my life. Like, my life is not what hers is, or it's not what I think the culture's standard is, and what is the right thing for me to be doing, and is my timeline off? Like, I know that's exhausting, and that's real. And I get that. I remember feeling that way when all of my friends were getting married and there was no prospect in sight for me. But I had my passion and the call of God in my life, and I had this career I was working on, and I felt a little bit insecure about it at the time. Like, was I investing in the wrong thing? Because I didn't have what everyone else had. But now, some years later, they have now found their careers, and now I am married. And they've told me they felt the same way back then, that they had a husband, they got married in a marriage they loved, but they didn't have a career they loved yet. And it just made me realize that not all of our timelines are the same. Not all of our lives are the same. Not all the calls of God on our lives are the same. Our locations are not the same. Our relationships are not the same. We cannot fall into the trap of comparing our timeline to somebody else's. Wherever you are, whatever God has called you to do, you do that. Don't look to the left or the right, look straight up. See what God is calling you to do. And I'm so glad that I did it the right way for what God had for me, and that my friends did it the right way for what God had for them. Just because your life doesn't look like what you once thought it could be, man, I bet you it's gonna be something even more than the limitation you've put on your life. So take the limits off, stop comparing, see what you already have. I bet you have some stuff that other people don't. See how you can use that to the best of your ability in the season you're in. And when I was single, I was like, and I'm gonna become interesting through it.
Yes.
I'm gonna be the kind of woman I hope the guy I want to marry would want to be.
Absolutely.
With. And now that we're a young married couple with no kids, but we're gonna try to become the kind of household we hope our kids would man, like,
I'm glad they're my
be
parents.
raised
Yes.
in. Yeah. So I say kill it as a positive.
Maximizing moments.
That's way more spiritual. Maximize the moment. No, but truly, and I think there's something to say about that, about comparing people's seasons.
Yeah.
There's a different time, a different season for everyone.
But how do you do that, though? Because the struggle's real.
Yeah.
No, but like you said, developing relationships.
I think that's
And it doesn't have to be
friends
with a
and-
child
right.
or a husband.
There's this friend of mine who I'm telling her story anyway, I'll get permission later. But so she just turned 50 and has never been married. She's very high in the world, big job. So big job around the world, making a huge difference around the world. So hasn't gotten married yet, and now actually she can't have kids. And so she had this grief moment about, and that's real. So I guess
It's
to acknowledge
real.
the pain that you just said of the
Absolutely.
question, grief. But what she has done, she fills her world with younger women. So she is pouring into them. In fact, she calls them her kids, and they come over and they just want to hang out with her and be with her. She has a very rich life. And it's not even like discounting the sorrow. And I grieved with her because I get it. I understand what you think you want and you didn't get, but in this moment that you have, so what can you do?
Yeah.
Right? You can live a life of grief,
Yeah.
or you can bring people in. It's the
choice.
relationships.
I think a lot of that is placing your joy somewhere else than my present day right here. And, God is our joy. This is
it.
We have to be content where we're at. We have to know that his peace and his joy is with me today because that's what he is. So we can't place when I get married, I'm going to be fulfilled. When I, get out of this divorce, I'm going to be fulfilled. You can't place that joy anywhere but in your present to rejoice in the Lord today. I think it's a real disadvantage to us when we place our hope and our joy in a future decision, or, when he asks me to marry him, or when I get that job, or when I get then I'm going to be fulfilled, then I'll be happy. I don't think that's the way it works. Jesus says, I am your peace. He is our joy. He's our strength. And he wants to be our everything in our now. And if we can just get that, and if we can be happy, and if we can be joy-filled and peaceful in the place where we are now, God's going to do great things for you because you've realized that he is your everything.
Sometimes we think about things, or we say, like,
Overthink.
I look like, and I'm like,
that's the truth.
Aren't my friends here? They look so beautiful. But we don't go the next step and tell them.
Yeah.
And I really believe that is a very important way to fulfill your life, is to begin to tell other people's
That's very
people
good. Yeah.
about, not just think the compliment,
Right.
not just think about writing the note, right? But actually going through with it.
Yes, just giving kindness away.
And it's amazing how it comes back to you.
Yes.
The fulfillment comes back to you. The smile comes back to you in your own heart when you see a smile. And so I really think one of the most exciting things in life is really making someone else's day.
That's it.
Because when you make someone else's day, it's amazing how God will make your day.
Yeah, there you go. That's
it's
another
just
practical
getting
thing.
out of that, like lifting your eyes off of what you want so much.
Yeah.
And realize that, it may not happen that way, but you know what? God has other ways to fill you up. And to really be that vessel of just grace and servanthood and all the things that God, really has us on this earth to do.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload.
And don't forget to check out our Better Together shop. Thanks for being a part of our community.